Hi, Raymond with the V20, here today with Molefi Kubuzie, who's joining us from Johannesburg, South Africa. Molefi is a member of the IVSC Tangible Asset Board, and we're very excited. He's going to tell us about the state of the valuation profession in Africa, which has been growing rapidly. Molefi, welcome. Can you give us an overview of what's been happening on the continent and all the rapid growth you've been having?
Okay, thank you, Ray, for giving me this opportunity to have this interview. Yes, I think I agree that there's been tremendous growth in the profession, within the valuation profession, in Africa generally. But the growth is uneven. Depending on various jurisdictions. Generally, I've spoken to a number of leading, specialist professionals within the African diaspora, and the general feel that I get is that the valuation profession has been growing, but it might not necessarily be growing to the extent that we anticipate or we want it to. But there's been phenomenal growth. Both in terms of the standard, in terms of professional registration requirements, and also in terms of representation and from a diversity perspective. So there's been a lot of growth with regard to the profession in the country. And I've also spoken to some, the valuer general in Namibia. He also confirmed that there's been growth in that market in terms of valuers. The key challenge that they're dealing with is with regard to registration of professionals or valuers. So, but in general, I think from a training perspective, in terms of registration, qualification, generally in terms of numbers, differentiation between women and men, I think there's been general growth in the industry with regard to the professionals. Yes, you are correct. So.
Okay, yeah. And you're right in Johannesburg, and you were telling me about the local valuation organization, the South African Council of Property Valuers Profession. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, the South African Council of Property Valuers Profession, it's a statutory council which has been given birth by, it's a creation of statute. The statute number 47. The Property Valuers Act gave rise or birth to what we call the SACPVP as we have now. And this body is responsible overall for regulating, educating the public, protecting the public against scrupulous valuers, and also, enhancing the professional competence and efficacy of the professionals in the country. So it's a very important, body. Overall, and it is also a member of the IVSC, and it also enforces standards. It also creates passes regulations in order to be able to manage and regulate the industry. So it's a very important statutory organ.
Okay, and Molefi, you're a real estate valuer, and you were telling me about AFRES, the African Real Estate Society, which is a continent real estate organization for all of Africa.
Yes. AFRES is a very important organization. It's called the African Real Estate Society. That's the full name. It's affiliated to a number of organizations. It's affiliated to the International Real Estate Society, IRS. It's also we have links with other sister, organizations or societies, like in North America, the RS. In Europe, also it has links with IRES, the Pacific region. It also has links to what we call the PPRES. In Latin America as well, LARES. And this body basically is there for networking, it's also for education, generally in matters related to property, including also valuation. So you have a number of interested and affected parties, and the membership is also diversified, from corporate, individual membership, also to non-profit organizations. Educational institutions, especially universities, are also members of AFRES, and they promote, the real estate and the real estate as a profession. And the membership comes from, the valuation fraternity, you have land surveyors, you have, people from the built environment professionals. They are members of AFRICS.
Fantastic. We're very excited to have the support of both SAC, PVP, as well as AFRIS, because right in South Africa, you're going to host the G20 meetings in 2 years. So that's quite excited that we have that long-term plan now in place, especially after AVAPE in Brazil will host the G20 next year. How has the G20 meetings been received in 2 years in South Africa? Are people starting to get excited about them?
Yes, I think there's some level of optimism and excitement, within. I have, this morning, even previous 2 weeks, I've been constantly having discussions with the current sitting president of the council, and he has been very thrilled, and he has been excited, and he has been very helpful in terms of linking us with the president of AFRIS. He also undertook to also market and publicize the G20, V20 summit and the conference within the website, on the website of the council. And basically, he also seems very keen also to come and participate and attend the conference by himself. So it's very interesting. So the council is very interested, and he'll be tabling and taking through his council, he's be taking the council through, the arrangements, the brochure, the declaration, and also getting, the council to be behind supporting the G20, V20, summit in general. And he's very thrilled that he has made a promise to say they will support the summit in whatever form and shape. And we just need to, to call them as and when we require assistance, and they'll gladly oblige. So we are excited that, South Africa as one of the countries that will be hosting, the summit in 2025. At least the council is now fully behind the G20 summit and conference, and it's very exciting.
It's so exciting to see these plans coming into place and so many continents lining up to support the G20 and the V20 as part of that. Molefi, any final thoughts for the audience?
Yeah, my final thoughts is that I think the G20 offers a very unique platform for the evaluation profession to see how they can be able to assist the G20 decision makers, and also probably come up with strategies and plans and tools in terms of nipping in the bud the challenges that are prevalent in most of the evaluation. African countries in respect of evaluation. We know now that the markets are intertwined. We're talking about the world as being a global village, and therefore the extent to which we collaborate and cooperate and come with common solutions is very central. And I think the G20, V20 is a very, very creative platform for us to be able to support investors, to support financiers, and also support countries in terms of sustainable development. So it's a very important and interesting development, and I'm hopeful that a number of countries will also come by and also buy into participation into the V20, G20 in future. It's a very exciting time.
I'm very excited to see you in about 4 weeks in New Delhi. I'm looking forward to it. Molefi, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a great conversation. Thank you.